Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos men have fans crying. The Golden Bachelorette star, Joan Vassos, has a group of guys that is making fans cry this season. Although fans got plenty of laughs with Jacqueline Shoney around, it wasn't all fun and games. But this season is packed with characters that have kept viewers entertained. However, some fans say the men have them in tears. Joan Vassos sets the stage for her men. Undeniably, the Golden Bachelor and the Golden Bachelorette have a completely different feel from other Bachelor Nation shows. Although the competitors are there to grab as much time as they can with the Bachelor or Bachelorette, the feeling is much different. For instance, during Jerry Turner's season, the Golden Ladies were a hoot. Not only did they keep fans rolling, but they were genuine, mature women who also cheered each other on along the way. Likewise, the Golden Men may want to steal Joan Vassos' heart, but they are also comrades in their non-traditional love-seeking. In Joan Vassos' gentle way, she ushered the entire group into a world of openness. Although it was a hard experience for her to share the loss of her husband, Joan Vassos, it set the stage for each person to admit their own grief and open their hearts. Undoubtedly, Charles Ling has pulled on fans' heartstrings with his caring soul. Several people lost spouses or chose to end marriages for difficult reasons. However, their journeys have led them to where they are. Furthermore, the men supported each other and became great friends during the Golden Bachelorette. But there have been inspirational stories from all of the men who have lived lives they didn't expect. While the guys were vying for Joan Vassos' attention, they bonded with their experience. Together they laughed, had fun, cried, and sorted through some of the situations in their lives that didn't go as planned. Unmistakably, their effort to support each other was evident, even though they were chasing the same woman. On Reddit, one fan discusses how the relationships on the show are bringing them to tears. They say, "The men's friendships tear me up." Then, the user adds, "I have to say it is absolutely beautiful to see these men reinventing themselves through the male friendships they have found on the show. It seems like many of them do not have a lot of male friendships in their real life, and it tore me up to see some of them leave and be hugged by the other men." Someone else adds, "When Charles L. said, 'It's a different love,' yep, I found it too sweet. It's honestly the best part of the show, not a dig at Joan, just being honest. All these guys have new besties, and it's so beautiful to see. I cried when Pascal was hyping up Mark before his date and telling him to smile because he has such a beautiful smile. I am genuinely sad that we are now on to hometowns, so we won't really get to see the guys interact together anymore. Hoping there will be a men tell all so we can see all the guys together again. It's been my favorite part of the show. It's truly so beautiful to watch these men transform and bond." Throughout the Golden Bachelorette season, Joan Vassos has fostered openness. She listens to each of her suitors as they discuss the twists and turns their lives have handed them. But even more so, the men have joked and shared out their journeys with each other. Captain Kim Book spoke about his life in the Navy and even bared his soul with his songwriting. Jonathan Roan had a flashback to his wife leaving him when he realized how hard it was to think about Joan sending him home. Charles Ling and Guy Ganser shared a touching moment when Guy explained what happened with Charles' wife's aneurysm. Additionally, Keith Gordon shared about becoming the girl dad he is so proud to be, but how hard it was to get there. Likewise, Chalk Chappell had a divorce and a death with his two former wives, and he even lost his mom during the show, and still is dedicated to connecting with Joan. Furthermore, Dan Romer shared his illness and even incorporated it into the talent show. Without a doubt, they are each great guys and have a story. Furthermore, they are stronger men now that they have traveled through their experiences. Joan Vassos knew stepping into the historic role of the first Golden Bachelorette would mean opening her heart to love again. But what she didn't know was just how much her journey would end up breaking our hearts in the most beautiful way. From night one, the men vying for Joan's rose weren't just charming. They were vulnerable, weathered by life, and carrying stories that could crack open even the most cynical viewer. Fans didn't expect to sob through their Thursday night wine and roses ritual. But Joan's cast of suitors brought something no one saw coming: emotionally literate maturity, raw honesty, and a devastating tenderness that's been missing from reality TV for far too long. Take Charles Ling, the retired firefighter from Oregon, whose eyes filled with tears as he clutched a photo of his late wife and whispered, "She told me not to stop living just because she had to." Or Lionel McCrae, the retired jazz musician who played an original song on the piano for Joan, and couldn't finish it because he broke down in the middle. "It's the first time I've played this since my brother passed," he said, choking back a sob as Joan reached for his hand. Twitter melted. TikTok dudes flooded in. "I'm crying over a man in his 60s who plays jazz piano and believes in second chances," one viewer wrote. "What is happening to me?" But it's not just the emotional backstories, it's the way these men express themselves. There's a softness to them, a gentleness that's rare on typical seasons of The Bachelor. These aren't men trying to impress with abs or Instagram handles. These are men who've lived, loved, lost, and are brave enough to show it. They cry with each other too, which might be the most revolutionary part. One unforgettable moment that sent fans into full meltdown was a group date where the men were asked to write letters to their younger selves. Mark Anderson, a 64-year-old widower from Ohio, stood up and read, "Dear younger me, it's okay to cry. It's okay to ask for help. One day you'll lose her, but you'll also find the strength to love again. Don't shut down. Keep your heart open. She'd want that." As his voice broke, the other men stood up one by one, surrounding him in a group hug. It wasn't performative. It was brotherhood. And viewers lost it. "I haven't cried like this since my wedding day," one commenter wrote. "Thank you, Golden Bachelorette, for reminding us what real men look like." Then there was Pascal Aguirre, the silver-haired salon owner from Los Angeles, who told Joan, "I've spent years helping women feel beautiful on the outside. I'd be honored to spend my remaining years making you feel beautiful on the inside." Fans swooned and sobbed in equal measure. "That man just gave better vows in 5 seconds than my ex did in 5 years," one fan posted on Reddit. Others declared Pascal the standard for romance after 60. Of course, none of this would hit as hard if it weren't for Joan herself. She listens like she's known each man for decades, not days. She touches shoulders, leans in when they speak, wipes tears from their cheeks without hesitation. When Chalk Chapel, the retired science teacher, broke down, recalling the day he had to give up his beloved dog after his Parkinson's diagnosis, Joan didn't give a platitude. She whispered, "Tell me more about him," and let him talk for minutes on end. It's not just a show anymore, it's a balm, a mirror. A reminder that love isn't just for the young, the flawless, or the filtered. It's for anyone brave enough to open their heart again, even after it's been shattered. And then came that scene, the one that left even the toughest reality TV fans clutching their tissues. It was the rose ceremony where Joan had to send home 2 fan favorites, Guy Gansard and Marvin Ellis. Guy, the former park ranger with the soul of a poet, had just read Joan a handwritten sonnet titled "The Forest Still Blooms." Marvin, the retired Air Force captain who carried a photo of his wife's final letter in his breast pocket, had just opened up about his fears of being alone in his final chapter. "I wish I had more roses," Joan whispered, tears streaming down her face. "You both deserve to be chosen." As Marvin hugged her goodbye, he said, "You made me believe in love again. That's more than I hoped for." And Guy, ever the gentleman, tipped his hat and said, "I'll still write you poems, even if you never read them." The camera cut to Joan weeping into her hands. And honestly, so were we. Social media exploded. "I am crying real tears over a man named Guy," one fan tweeted. "This is not just a show, this is art." Another viewer wrote, "Whoever cast this season deserves an Emmy and a hug from their grandma."